Okie dokie, so now we've got Dust 2, which is an easier map in knowledge, that's why everyone likes to play it. It's not complex as Nuke, because you don't have multiple levels, multiple angles, and multiple map control. But it's really basic, but then you have an issue of doing the same thing over again. So we're going to analyse Dust 2. First round, everyone gets mostly armour. Your whole team has armour, and only a few people from the other team bought armour. So if these guys play B, they're basically dead. So what you could have done was buy a smoke and a flash, because you don't always need armor in first round. But if you want to go for a low and easy buy, then just go for armor. But then you might not need armor because you're gonna die from a 2-hit or 1-hit from a USP anyways. So that's a waste of $650 yet again. But up to you how you want to decide how to buy. So if you had a smoke and a flash, you could have done what Supix does, is crouch with the lock, and then you want to aim somewhere close by this ledge, if I can draw perfectly. I can't really, but see if you aim at this edge but not too close to this edge here. Then what you can do is, with that open area, you can smoke door, which is some of your faults are how you dealt with door. So if you dealt with door with that smoke, you tend to find your Dust 2 for BE executes even better, so that means you only need to focus on window. You can also smoke window now in the new update for Dust 2, where I think you stand here and you aim for somewhere here. You're looking at YouTube, easy peasy, and that will smoke this here, so you can have window and doors, and then just use flashes to just flash over and use a flash or smoke here, and you can also smoke here if you go, I think, somewhere here and you aim for here. Yet again, this is on YouTube, so you can throw that smoke bounces here, so this triple box area can be smoked. So you went for an execute, basic stuff. This one guy barrels, but the problem is the space in here. It's really crowded. You do need to be careful about your spacing, because you end up bashing the wall and then walking right in front of a person. And you're moving a little bit too much. You could have shifted or crouched, because there could have been a guy up here. So you're running about. It could be a problem if you look inside. You're also not looking at window while you're moving. You're looking at the ground. Why would the enemy be in the ground? Good question. And you're aiming a little bit too low. I know realistically they won't be there, but there's a chance that there could be a guy waiting nearby out window, and he could just went out and just destroy that. This is not much of an issue, but you do tend to move too much. If you stay still and focus on the angle, you probably had this easier. Also, your crosshair placement here is decent, but you need to aim more to the head than the wall. Yet again, you have to rely on your shake, which is not a good idea. Try and be more stable when you shoot. But that's a round win. You're going for an A push. Notice that they always tend to play, especially in matchmaking, a 2-1-2, which is a default, because it's a nice weight to the B, a nice weight to A, and a nice weight on mid, so it's evenly spaced, so that's a default. So there's a flash here, and the problem here is how long you take to get outdoors. That need comes, and you get somewhat damaged, but you shouldn't really hold yourself based on that. You should really be grouped with this guy. You're aiming too high. You take a shot, you go back. You're waiting for your teammates, which could have been a little bit risky. You still have a smoke. What you could have done by now is smoke close by CT, or if you run with a smoke, what you could have done was if you line up here aim for this tooth and do a little bit run throw, you can bounce it here from long, but this also leaves a gap here. So when you want to do a long hit, use two smokes, one guy smoke here, one guy smoke close. So one's running and one's running from back here. Also your pathing is bad because there's no need to go to pit from that angle. There's already one guy here pit, so why is there need for two pit? Also, these two should really be going up close and hugging the wall to make this guy have a more difficult hit, but don't space too far. So your reasoning to go to pit was wrong. Your pathing is a little bit bad here. Also, why are you running with a knife? You say to plant. That plant there was fine. There's no need to shift there. Also, your positioning here is bad. You expose yourself. This guy could have easily taken you. You should be playing either hiding like this guy in ramp, or you can hide behind box and just bait him. And also, your movement here could have cost you if you went out. You're 14 HP, that guy could have had a pistol and just simply shot you. Playing that spot can be bad, especially if you ever smoke. So you need to be a little bit more careful of how you space yourself. You could have done a jump throw from outside it. Let me show you. What I like to do is, or most people like to do is, if you squeeze yourself here, aim somewhere here, again this is on YouTube, and then do a jump throw, you can do quite a long out flash. That is too high up. That does get them, but if you went lower, there's a less of a chance that they could rotate from it. What you can do also is, if you're still from here, you could do a jump throw for a flash that bounces here. Because sometimes a pit guy could be running and he looks this direction, so if you have a flash that pops here, practice this offline, get a flash that pops here from a jump throw, or a run throw, but not too far, and pops perfectly here, you can flash someone who holds pit as well. So make sure you have good utility usage. Decent long hit, just a smoke out. Should have kept pushing. Don't know why you're holding back from a guy who has a deagle. You're spending too long in pit because you're taking too long. The guys from mid are now starting to rotate. So this would have been a good situation to rotate yourself right back to B, because the B and mid rotator is now focused on A. But this could still work if you time it right. Also, that flash is bad. You should actually be stopping. So stop, peek, and don't do a linear move. Just stop, stop. Check each angle and stop, because if you keep moving then shooting, then your bullets are not going to hit. So if you do short movements and check each angle and use this wall, you should be fine. Because if you put the field in, notice that you keep going into their field of view, or the cursor field of view. Be thankful you got that. You could have done like a strafe jump. You like curve in and out to make it more difficult, because just doing a standard run jump like that, someone could just have good y-axis reflex and just swipe your head off. Also, your information has been given to them. So you managed to get the guy in short. So ideally he's going to be CT or long, unless he holds back. So right away, short's clear. He could be CT or long by now, if he's not already appeared himself. But since there's no one CT, notice this guy here has not spotted anyone CT. You can presume that he's either holding back, saving, but he might not save with a scout, or he's definitely long. In this case, he's actually long, based on that information. Also, what happens wrong here is you're not playing safe from long. and you just got traded from that, and also your teammates actually not helping your trade. So if your teammates are going to play passive and play the time, don't extend yourself. But because you extend yourself and this guy is not going to help you trade, you actually played yourself to death. So be thankful that that guy won that round for you. Also, you keep running. Yet again, what you can do is, once you hit here, strafe peek to see if there's anyone behind boxes, then check barrel, then check above barrel, then you can go against the wall, check sight, and don't expose yourself. Also, that's why you died here from doors as well, if you didn't die already. You need to be more careful, you're exposing yourself too much again. So if you go to their point of view, you're showing your whole body, but you think you might not, but you are. Also, bad idea trying to fight right at the center of the tunnels. Get yourself out here, or get yourself on top of here and start the fight. Don't block, because now the space in here is grouped, and that's how you died. As easy as that. Few people died from tunnels because you decided to be at the center. So either get out of tunnels, hold it from here, or go here, or if you had that smoke from way over here, or if your teammate done the window, that wouldn't have happened, and that retaking B would be far easier. Also, if you have a chance to, if you can molly run and get this spot over here. And I don't know why there's no box here. Also, the problem here is yet again your pathing and your teammates' pathing as well. So if you look at the field lines, notice that you're both walking in the same line. So he actually could have team killed you if he was not careful, and also this makes it easier for this guy. He takes the first shot against this guy here. What you could have done here, or this guy could have done, is you could do a flash that bounces here, pops out from here, and flashes here. So when you run it out, the flash pops here, and you can take the fight here. So that's also on YouTube, where you can flash here, bounces here, pops here, for an easier A take. So you're going to actually essentially lose the round because you're going to run into a crossfire. So this guy's here doing the crossfire for the wall, and this guy is doing the crossfire for this angle. So basically be careful about this blue line because you keep walking into it. That's basically based on the angle perception of the wall here. So Counter-Strike's like angles, so you have to be careful. Because he's putting himself into a wider angle here, as you can see. The problem with you, or this bit here, is that you have to work more for the angle than what he does. So that's the thing you want to do. If you're going to be CT, you want to play it in the angle where it's harder for the enemy team to get into that angle. So he's at an advantage because he doesn't need to do any work. And obviously you would need to do some work to even see him like that. So even at this angle, you see his feet, but from his angle, you'll see your whole body. So be careful about the angle advantage, or peeker's advantage as it's called. This time we're going to review the map from overview. And you're going to decide to do B execute again. Number 8's going out is probably not a good idea, as they're going to set up with a 2-man trade here. That trade should not have happened. That was a good trade, but what should have happened was he should be more going towards like here or close by, and see if you had that smoke. If you had that smoke, then this bit here will be smoked out, and then they'd have to be would have to be in a window. So utility will actually help you to win the rounds. so you can manipulate how they're going to play. You're going to die more easier because number 2 and 3 will see you more than what 9 would. Because see, if 9's playing back, you should play more safe. So you should understand how to play situations based on how your teammates are. And if you know your teammates are scared, don't go for plays that will guarantee you will die, because you ideally need to support them. And this trade will not work, obviously. And that involves this guy to be very much in disadvantage, and also there's still 2 people in mid, so that B push should not happened. And if that was going to happen, those 2 people in mid should have dealt with Cat and go for a B execute right here, right away. So right away, these 2 here failed your execute. He should not be here. And if he was, then he should have been quick. Also, he spent too long in mid. So when you execute here, what should have happened was guys in mid should have taken number 1 out, and then they should know a smoke that bounces CT to keep these 2 guessing, and then these 2 can flank these 2 here. So the problem here is how you execute, but that's not your problem. It's better to play with people, and you have to know your smokes. So smoke here, learn smoke here, make sure your teammate knows the smoke here, flashes out mid, Molotovs out, smoke here if you want to, if you don't, up to you, but make sure that door is smoked, because window and doors is the worst trade for dying from CTs, so be careful about that. The problem is you don't tend to do enough defaults. You don't need to always do an execute full B, full A. So for this example, it's quite mixed. You have to know what you're doing beforehand. So there's too much mid presence, and also 9 should not be here. Ideally, these 2 should be right now going up for long. And the pacing here is wrong, because your pacing with 3 here are too fast, and the pacing here is too slow. So when you want to take A, you want to do it with the same pacing. And if long's going, wait for long to go out, then push. So the idea is you want to bombard short and long at the same time, because you don't want the CTs to have trade potential. No one's taking long. This allows number 2 to make a clear for B. And what I find funny is you went for B, which is somewhat of a good thing. And they would have to save. So number 7 was playing too far away from the bomb, because it could have been 2 CT. But thankfully number 6 played it out fine. So now how do you do number 8? You're doing a default here for A. Reason how you know you're doing a default for A, if there's 2 A, 2 mid, and 1 B. So you're playing map control for A, hence default for A. So what you should be doing is, you should not be waiting out here ideally, but you could have actually waited it out here. Your trade for 5 was good, and obviously your information was known. You could have played it back, or be more conscious about how you're going to approach that angle. So let's see what happened. You had your knife out. You wonder why you died, because you had the knife out. If you got that kill, also you're aiming far too high, hence why you're now compensating your aim, is you have to aim at head level. So you aim too high, now you aim too low. Now you aim at the sky with a knife. Against a pistol too. So that's pretty bad. That should have been your victory, not the other way around, because that could have been a 3-on-2 instead of 3-on-2 on the opposite side. Yet again, too much presence on mid. You got an entry in B, and then an entry on that. Notice, if you know how CT side plays, ideally there's always going to be 2B, 3A, or 2B, 2 mid, or 1A, depending on how they're setting up. Or it could be none B and always 2 mid. Based on that, you should have done a full execute on B at this point because you can bombard number 3. So the first kill on B should have been the call to go for B, and the kill from mid should have been the call to definitely go for A. And 6 should try and bait these two to stay for A. Taking too long. You got that entry, good. So now you should go for that, and you should know that now he's saving a scout. Pretty bad. You shouldn't have peeked him out here. Let's see why. You're moving too much. Stay still. And because you picked bad angle, you done that, and you didn't need to expose yourself because he's probably pre-peeking you, and that's correct. And notice what he sees, or you see his legs, but what he sees is also your legs, but because he has a scout, he can move faster than the op. That's why dealing with scouts are so annoying, because they have good acceleration. And the bad thing about an op is when you have a shoot, you're going to be slowed down. And there's obviously a timing with the op as well, so you need to work on your op. That's good that you smoked that you run away, but the problem here is the smoke can indefinitely mean that there's going to be presence under tunnels. So let's see, yep. That smoke always identifies that someone's going to play lower. So if you were picking there, then you should be very, very, very of the guy for lower. So that's a little bit of map knowledge. And because he got LAB control, he knows it's not a B execute because there's no one here. So if you look at how now they set up for that, they're already doing a hit. Now he should have saved that AK, there's no need to go for it. Good thing you got him dead, but need to be more careful. Notice that number 6 died. Why did number 6 go out? There was no need for him to go out. Also, your spacing here with number 6 is bad. Because number 6 died so early, the CT side has good map control now. What should have happened was you should have told him to play back, but also he shouldn't have gone solo without the support. So it's really important to get that trade support and then more than one person. Also, going for pit yet again can be risky. Assuming that you get that kill, it should be all fine. You're moving your mouse, not keep your mouse still. You see nothing, now you're in the solo because you took too long in pit. Also, there's no need to get your nade out. And also, if you're in a 1v4, be always wary of a guy being behind you for the bait. So the issue here was spacing and timing. You bet that, but yet again, you didn't stop and prepare for this angle. And because you died here, let's see the impact of your death. Slows down. But notice now there's 3B because of that extra information. So based on that, you could have done some presence mid if you want to go for B, because you want to make them be really scared about mid, because mid will allow you to go for A or B. So what you could have done is do presence mid. Make sure that these two guys here rotate off, but you need to prepare for tunnels in that case. So what you can have done here to prevent that from, or make it better, is make noise, make presence mid, make sure that op is distracted from doors, make sure that window guy rotates off and supports the op for mid. Then you can bombard this guy here. So that would be the situation to compensate from that. And helmet, you don't need helmet. Sort by and helmet. Now this is a problem. If a guy was lower, chances are very slim. Also, no one is defending lower. The guy in lower could have a free real estate at this point. Because all he has to do is just keep jiggle peeking. And just kill you all. Also, there's no presence A, so they can do process of elimination. Utility should have been bought, ideally smoking that. Also, you're exposing yourself too much to doors. You should be going ideally more close up to tunnels walls, so you can defend yourself at least from this guy, defend yourself from window, and also use this crate to defend yourself against doors. And because you're out here, you're going to cause easy death. At least you got that kill. Playing back here can be risky. Obviously there's going to be one guy here tunnels now. There's no need for you to go out like that. Good shot. Now you should go for A. You've shown yourself too much for B. So you should try at least mid presence or mid control. Or play it really slow. Or do a fake for A. You should have held that angle. At least you got that. By now you should have been picking for a site, you shouldn't be playing pit. Because if you go here instead of going to pit, you could have helped support for this angle here. But because you go to pit, oh no, there's two pit. Pit depends on how you're going to play, is ideally avoid it. Play upper here, because you can help the retake here. Also, rifle should never go pit, so you should have told him off for going for pit, because this guy here could have been going against the wall here, and he could have done the peek for car. Also, there should have been a smoke here. I'm hoping there's smoke. Good. Smoke here. You should have went out for now. Now here comes the retake. Why are you still pit? If they both here died, you'd have a harder chance because you're going up against a scout, 2 scouts, and a pistol. Number 9 should ideally be on A because the A hit chance is highly likely. Ideally you want 1 or 2B. So when does the information come in? Your lurk for upper tunnels was not necessary. That's a waste of time. Now you go for A long. Now this could have been played better if you weren't moving as much. If you're hugging the wall and used the peek advantage, you could have got that more easier. And how this played out is by chance. Also, you need to stop moving when you're shooting pistol. So that's by chance. So this B lark here was not necessary, you wasted your time here. You're better using this door because it's faster to rotate by. But be thankful you won that round. Now you're doing A long. Confusing yet again. Stick to one thing. You've seen one flash, so you shouldn't really stay here because that's going to happen. You should have played it more further back. So play nearby here, so that means that you expose yourself less. Also, you should play back. You're peeking too wide out. If there's a flash going out and you're out here flashed, that's game over basically. And there's one pit, you're out in the open. Why are you out in the open? You should have been playing here. Car, or you should ideally be playing backside. Also, why is no one supporting you A? Why is all your teammates deciding to have mid aggression for no apparent reason? At least there's no one B, that's somewhat good. But why are you the only one A? Ideally, if you die, it's your team's fault. But you should have kept your team on point. Yep, you died. And because site's open, you're going to say goodbye to A site. Or you won that round by an A long hit. But see if you played more further back. By the time that this short push came in, or the long push, you could have done a better trade. So if you played here, and you played time, and just use your flash them out, then you can really distort them. Because you want them to make them feel mad. You don't want them to win. So if you played back here, played your time well, you were more patient, you're very, very aggressive, and you want something to happen, but that's bad because notice they take a while to do something. So if you've played back, did you have a flash? No, you didn't. You had no flashes. So if you played it more further back and played it with short, you would have won that round. And you'd save an M for an armor. Ideally, no one came out long. So right away, go away from long if there's no one present here. So go off long and play car, or go off long and play site. Because no one's shown presence here, so there's no need for you to stay for long. That's confusing again, you should have played A long, because A long is your way of playing. If you keep changing to short, if you keep changing to long, if you keep changing to B, you're not going to be consistent. And why is no one A? Look what you've done. They've got free real estate here. You should have heard them come out for A long. Now, this guy doesn't have a trade potential. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Still in their favour. Why are you not an A? Do you think there's someone's mid? There's no one mid. You should have went right back for A. Going for the A long push. You need to stop doing this A long push. It's not going to help anyone. Not good, not good. See, because you went for long, instead of going from short to side, you lost a round. You need to stop doing the A long pushes, it's not working at all. Yep, you're finally going back to A long. Stay A long. It's probably one of your best locations to be. You seen a flash? Only one flash, so already there's 2 dead, so let's see where you are. You don't need to be long yet again, because it's 3 against 4. A site's open, no one's got mid control. Now, this is the play that you played by chance. Also, I'm very surprised how well your hold back control is. Because right now, if you shoot that, the chances of you being traded is highly likely. So this is good recoil control. Now, you should have aimed for the head, ideally, because you won't have 2 shots. So if you got this within 6 bullets, that'd be amazing. Be thankful that guy never saw you. Or done a faster reaction, because that could have been a game changer. I'm glad that you were patient and you never went for it, because if you went for the first guy, that could have been a T round. So good recoil control. Yet again, why is no one on short? And why is this guy rotating? There's no need for that guy to rotate. Oh, one dead mid. Also, this guy here's fine for B. So there's no need for 2 guys for mid. That guy should have went for A to balance it out. Because what happens here now is, if you're dead here, he could potentially get here. But by the time that he gets here, there's already 3 guys long. So what he should have done was, he should have went back for A. That's intel right away. You hear that guy? Also, if you aimed here and they flash out, you're gonna keep to the same angle. Also, you have a flash and you have a smoke. Ideally, don't use your smoke, because if you use your smoke, then they're gonna use that smoke to go against you. So you could have done a right click flash instead, and then you died here because you moved while shooting. You could have done a jiggle peek. There was an ult there, so you could have done a jiggle peek to bait him out for a shot, then kill him. Or you could have done a crouch peek. Or you could just use your flashes to win the round. So your problems are your tendency to lurk, even though it's not needed. Your pacing is kind of off. Your pairing with your teammates is bad. You need to be more grouped up with your teammates. You tend to play back in situations where you should have pushed forward. Also, you have very bad map control. So ideally stay on site, and if no one's long, play back site or play car. Also, putting yourself into situations where you're always losing, so use those angles to your advantage. Learn utility. I don't see much utility from you. Learn the smoke for A long, learn the Molotov to bully it. Again, you can watch my point of views from Dust 2 to see what to do in that situation. Also, you need to play back, you have to be more patient.